There are ideas inside Multipliers by Liz Wiseman that have shaped how some of the world's best leaders think and operate. This is the executive summary, and today we are unpacking them. Before we begin, if you find value here, hit like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Let's begin. Before we get into it, if you want the core lessons from the world's best leadership books delivered every week, hit subscribe and the notification bell right now. It takes 2 seconds, and it's the best decision you'll make today. Now, let's get into it. Does your leadership style inadvertently drain the intelligence and capability from your team? Many leaders, despite their best intentions, act as diminishers, unconsciously stifling innovation, suppressing talent, and leaving their organizations operating far below their true potential. They believe they're being effective, yet their teams feel undervalued, unheard, and ultimately disengaged. This isn't about malicious intent. It's often about deeply ingrained behaviors that prevent others from shining. The question isn't if you are impacting your team's collective intelligence, but how. Are you amplifying it, or are you inadvertently diminishing it? Understanding this distinction is not merely an academic exercise. It is fundamental to unlocking peak performance and fostering true innovation within any organization. If you want the core lessons from the world's best leadership books delivered every week, hit subscribe and the notification bell. Let's get into it. Liz Wiseman's seminal work, Multipliers, How the Best Leaders Make Everyone Smarter, published in 2010, fundamentally reshaped our understanding of leadership impact. Wiseman, a distinguished researcher, executive advisor, and CEO of the Wiseman Group, brought to this book a wealth of experience, including her tenure as a vice president at Oracle Corporation, where she led Oracle University globally. Her background in both practical leadership and rigorous research position her uniquely to dissect the dynamics of collective intelligence within organizations. The core problem Multipliers addresses is both pervasive and often unrecognized. The presence of leaders who, often unintentionally, drain intelligence, energy, and capability from their teams. These diminishers leave organizations underutilized and talent frustrated, creating environments where potential remains untapped. Before Wiseman's work, the focus was often on the leader's individual brilliance. Multipliers shifts this paradigm entirely. This book became a landmark in leadership literature because it introduced a novel and highly practical framework. It moved beyond the traditional view of leadership as solely about individual vision or strategic acumen, instead focusing on how leaders impact the intelligence and capability of those around them. Wiseman's research revealed that the most effective leaders are not necessarily the smartest people in a room, but those who make everyone else smarter. They are multipliers, individuals who use their intelligence to amplify the capabilities and intellect of their teams, fostering environments where talent flourishes. In contrast, diminishers inadvertently suppress talent and drain organizational capacity, often believing they are helping by providing all the answers or taking control. Multipliers matters because it provides a clear, actionable roadmap for leaders to transition from unintentionally stifling their teams to actively cultivating an environment of collective genius. It offers a mirror for self-reflection and a toolkit for transformation. This isn't merely about being nice. It's about strategic effectiveness. By understanding and applying the principles of multipliers, leaders can unlock hidden potential, drive superior organizational performance, and cultivate a culture of innovation and engagement. The book is essential reading for a broad audience, from Fortune 500 CEOs grappling with complex strategic challenges to frontline team leaders striving to empower their staff. Senior executives, entrepreneurs building new ventures, HR professionals designing leadership development programs, and anyone aspiring to cultivate a high-performing, engaged team environment will find its insights invaluable. It's a book that doesn't just describe a problem. It offers a profound solution for maximizing human capital in an increasingly complex world. The essence of being a multiplier lies not in possessing superior intelligence, but in how one uses that intelligence to amplify the capabilities of others. This is a profound shift from traditional leadership paradigms, which often celebrate the individual genius at the top. Wiseman meticulously outlines several key practices that distinguish multipliers from diminishers. Multipliers understand that their primary role is to attract and optimize talent by creating an environment where people can do their best work. They're not merely consumers of talent. They are cultivators. Diminishers, conversely, often hoard resources, micromanage, and in doing so, inadvertently cause top talent to flee or become disengaged. Wiseman explains that multipliers don't just seek out smart people. They actively construct an intellectual magnet that draws in exceptional individuals. More importantly, once talent is acquired, they utilize that talent to its fullest potential. They see genius in everyone, not just a select few, believing that everyone possesses unique capabilities waiting to be unleashed. This perspective transforms the leader from a gatekeeper of knowledge to an architect of growth. They ask, how can I make this person even better, rather than how can this person serve my agenda? Consider the enduring legacy of Steve Jobs. While his reputation for demanding perfection was legendary, he was, in many ways, a profound multiplier in his ability to attract and inspire world-class engineers and designers at Apple. Jobs didn't just hire brilliant individuals. He gave them seemingly insurmountable challenges, such as designing a smartphone with no physical keyboard or a computer that was both powerful and aesthetically revolutionary. Crucially, he then granted them the autonomy and resources to solve these problems. He fostered an environment where genius could thrive, where engineers were expected to push boundaries, and where creative solutions were celebrated. He wasn't afraid to challenge, but he also created the space for his team to deliver their best work, making Apple an irresistible magnet for top-tier talent. The viewer challenge here is direct. Are you creating an environment that genuinely attracts and retains top talent, or are your leadership behaviors inadvertently pushing your best people away? Reflect on your team's engagement, retention rates, and the quality of talent you are able to recruit. Multipliers liberate people to do their best thinking. They achieve this by fostering an environment of psychological safety, intellectual rigor, and high expectations. They understand that true innovation and problem-solving emerge when individuals feel safe to experiment, make mistakes, and share nascent ideas without fear of judgment. Diminishers, by contrast, create stress and fear, which inevitably stifle innovation and lead to self-censorship. Wiseman posits that multipliers move from a tell-and-control approach to an ask-and-empower methodology. They challenge people to think deeply, to grapple with complex problems, but they simultaneously provide the necessary space and support to do so. This liberation isn't about a lack of accountability. It's about enabling individuals to take ownership of their intellectual contributions. They create a culture where curiosity is rewarded and mistakes are viewed as learning opportunities, not failures. A powerful example of this is General Stanley McChrystal's leadership of the Joint Special Operations Task Force in Iraq. Facing a dynamic and elusive enemy, McChrystal realized that traditional hierarchical command structures were too slow. He deliberately fostered a culture of radical transparency and trust, empowering junior officers to make critical decisions and share information freely across the entire organization. He pushed decision-making authority down the chain, liberating the collective intelligence of his diverse team to adapt rapidly to an ever-changing battlefield. This wasn't chaos. It was controlled empowerment built on trust, which allowed for unprecedented agility and effectiveness. So, the challenge for you: do your team members genuinely feel safe to voice dissenting opinions, admit mistakes, and take calculated risks? Or are they holding back out of fear of judgment or potential failure, thereby keeping their best ideas to themselves? Multipliers don't just assign tasks. They challenge people with big, audacious problems that demand creative thinking and stretch capabilities. They understand that growth occurs at the edge of one's comfort zone. Diminishers, on the other hand, tend to give easy answers, set low bars, or oversimplify complex issues, thereby robbing their teams of the opportunity to grow and innovate. Wiseman highlights that multipliers frame problems as opportunities for growth and discovery. They ignite passion by presenting challenges that are significant and meaningful, expecting people to figure things out rather than simply follow instructions. This approach fosters a sense of ownership and pushes individuals to develop new skills and perspectives. They don't provide the map, they provide the compass and the destination, trusting their team to navigate the terrain. Consider Elon Musk. He consistently presents his teams at SpaceX and Tesla with what many would deem impossible challenges: reusable orbital rockets, mass-market electric vehicles, or a global satellite internet constellation. These aren't just ambitious goals. They're challenges that force engineers and designers to innovate at an unprecedented pace, to rethink fundamental assumptions, and to achieve breakthroughs previously thought unattainable. While demanding, this approach has cultivated a culture where problem-solving is paramount, and the pursuit of audacious goals drives continuous innovation and personal development. Your challenge, then, are you truly challenging your team with problems that stretch their capabilities and inspire innovative solutions? Or are you simplifying tasks to ensure quick, predictable, but ultimately less impactful outcomes? Multipliers actively spark intense debate and discussion, ensuring that all voices are heard and diverse perspectives are rigorously considered before making well-informed decisions. They understand that the best decisions emerge from a crucible of conflicting ideas. This stands in stark contrast to diminishers, who either make unilateral decisions, allowing no room for input, or permit groupthink to dominate, leading to suboptimal outcomes. Wiseman argues that multipliers orchestrate robust discussions, intentionally inviting a conflict of ideas, but never a conflict of people. They create a safe space for intellectual sparring, ensuring that all relevant information and viewpoints are surfaced. This process leads to more comprehensive decisions and, crucially, greater buy-in, even if the final decision isn't everyone's initial preference. They're not afraid of dissent. They actively cultivate it as a means to uncover blind spots and refine strategies. A historical example of this is Abraham Lincoln during the American Civil War. He famously assembled a team of rivals in his cabinet, intentionally including individuals with differing political views and strong personalities, some of whom had even run against him for the presidency. Lincoln encouraged vigorous debate, leveraging these diverse perspectives to forge critical decisions that ultimately preserved the Union. He understood that the strength of his leadership lay not in silencing dissent, but in harnessing it to arrive at the most robust solutions. The viewer challenge. Do you actively solicit and facilitate diverse viewpoints and constructive debate before making key decisions? Or do you tend to gravitate towards consensus or your own opinion too quickly, potentially missing critical insights? Multipliers invest in people's success by giving them genuine ownership of results and providing the necessary resources, coaching, and accountability. They empower individuals to deliver without constant oversight, fostering self-reliance and capability. Diminishers, conversely, often retain control, provide insufficient resources, or micromanage processes, thereby inadvertently disempowering their teams. Wiseman highlights that multipliers give people ownership, not just tasks. They provide the necessary resources, whether that be budget, training, or access to information, and then they step back, holding people accountable for outcomes rather than dictating every step of the process. This approach builds both capability and confidence within the team. They see their role as developing future leaders, not just managing current tasks. They measure success by the growth of their team members, not just by the completion of projects. Consider a senior pastor who empowers associate pastors to lead new ministry initiatives. Instead of dictating every detail, the senior pastor provides them with a budget, mentorship, and the authority to make decisions within their defined scope. This investment allows the associate pastors to develop their leadership skills, take ownership of their projects, and expand the church's reach in ways the senior pastor alone could not. It is a clear demonstration of trusting others to lead and providing the support for them to succeed. Your challenge. Are you truly investing in your team members' growth and success by giving them genuine ownership and the necessary resources, or are you inadvertently holding them back with excessive oversight and control? Perhaps one of the most crucial insights from multipliers is the concept of the accidental diminisher. Many leaders, despite their well-intentioned motives, unintentionally diminish their teams through misguided behaviors. These are not malicious acts, but rather habits born from a desire to help, to be efficient, or to demonstrate competence. Examples include the idea guy/gal who constantly injects new ideas, inadvertently stifling others' creativity, or the rescuer who jumps in to solve problems, preventing team members from learning through struggle. Wiseman identifies several archetypes of accidental diminishers: the rapid responder, who answers questions before anyone else has a chance to think; the pace setter, whose high standards and speed make others feel inadequate; the always-on leader, whose constant presence and input leave no room for others to lead. The key, Wiseman argues, is not to condemn these leaders, but to help them recognize these behaviors and adopt multiplier practices instead. Awareness is the first step towards transformation. Imagine a well-meaning CEO who, as the idea guy, constantly shares new concepts, strategic directions, and innovative solutions during team meetings. While this CEO believes they are inspiring and leading, they are inadvertently stifling their team's initiative to generate and develop their own ideas. Over time, the team learns to wait for the CEO's input, leading to a culture of dependency rather than innovation. The CEO's strength becomes the team's weakness. Your final challenge: which accidental diminisher tendency might you be exhibiting, even with the best intentions? And what specific multiplier behavior can you consciously adopt to counteract it, starting this week? To translate these profound insights into tangible action, here are 3 concrete moves you can implement this week to begin your journey as a multiplier. For the next 7 days, consciously shift your communication ratio. Before you're about to give a statement, a directive, or an answer, pause. Instead, formulate and ask 2 open-ended questions that prompt your team members to think critically and contribute their own solutions. For example, instead of saying, "We need to launch this campaign by Friday," ask, "What are the critical steps to launch this campaign effectively?" And then, "What potential roadblocks do you foresee, and how might we overcome them?" This forces you to listen and empowers your team to think. Identify one team member whom you might be unconsciously underestimating or whose full potential you haven't yet seen. For the next 3 days, actively observe them with a specific lens. Look for moments of genius. This could be a unique insight they offer, an innovative approach to problem solving, a hidden talent they display, or an unexpected contribution. At the end of each day, or at the first appropriate opportunity, specifically acknowledge and affirm what you observed. Say, "I noticed how you approached that client issue today. Your ability to was particularly insightful." This not only boosts their confidence, but also trains your own eye to see and value the untapped potential in others. Before you present your own solution to a team problem, present the problem itself clearly and concisely. Then, pose a challenge to your team. What's the biggest challenge embedded within this problem? And what's one unconventional or even radical way we could approach it? After posing the question, genuinely listen. Resist the urge to immediately critique or offer your own thoughts. Build on their ideas, even if they differ significantly from your initial thoughts. This fosters a culture of collective problem solving and demonstrates that you value their creative input, not just their execution of your ideas. Remember, the ultimate measure of a leader is not how smart they are, but how much smarter they make everyone around them. If you found these insights valuable, please like this video. And if you wish to continue receiving the distilled wisdom from the world's most impactful leadership literature, hit subscribe and the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Next week, we're breaking down Good to Great by Jim Collins, exploring the enduring principles that differentiate truly great companies from merely good ones. Until then, lead wisely. Multipliers by Liz Wiseman is one of those books that changes how you see leadership once you understand what it is actually saying. Subscribe to the executive summary, and we will keep bringing you the ideas that matter most from the books worth reading. See you next time.